I had just finished my 3rd tour overseas when I got the news. Not from her, not from my so-called best friend, but from a damn email titled, "Regarding our marriage." Yup. That was how I found out my wife of 8 years, Emily, was leaving. Me, I was in a dusty little FOB in northern Iraq, counting down the weeks till I could fly home, hold her, and maybe even start a family like we'd talked about. I had plans. I had dreams. I'd even bought a little teddy bear at the PX, because we used to joke about how we'd name our first kid, Max or Sadie, depending on the gender, instead. I opened my inbox on a Sunday hour Skype day, mind you, and saw that message. She said she couldn't wait anymore, that she'd grown as a person while I was away, that some people enter your life for a reason, and some for a season. Like it was some damn Instagram quote. No, I'm sorry. No explanation. Just a cold, sharp goodbye, and worse. She ended the email with, "By the time you get this, I'll be gone. The house is sold. I've taken what I needed. Please don't contact me." Gone. I stared at that line like it was written in another language. The house was sold. That's when I panicked. I logged into our joint bank account. Empty. Every single cent. Savings gone. My paychecks gone. She had withdrawn it all 2 days earlier. Moved it to a private account. I tried to call. Straight to voicemail. I tried her mother. "I'm sorry, sweetie. I think you too need space," she said. Her mother, my hands were shaking. My battle-hardened, trigger-ready, bomb-dismantling hands were shaking. I sat in my bunk, staring at the screen, rereading the email over and over. 8 years together, 6 of them married, and this was how it ended. No fight, no warning. Just click, delete, gone. But you know what was worse? I already knew who she left me for. See, there was this guy Jake, my best friend since basic. We'd done 2 tours together, played ball in high school. He was the guy I trusted with my life. Literally, he was also the guy who helped Emily with things when I was away. Fix the sink, Jake. Mow the lawn, Jake. Lonely and need company, Jake. I never thought twice. I trusted him like a brother. Hell, I once told Emily that if I ever died overseas, I wanted Jake to look out for her. The irony makes me sick now. I went back through old messages, pictures, posts. Things didn't add up. There were subtle changes, times when Emily didn't answer me for hours, and Jake would go dark around the same times. Facebook comments that aged badly. Inside jokes that weren't ours. Looking back, I saw it all clearly. They'd been planning this. 2 weeks later, I came back home to an empty apartment. I was lucky the army gave me a place to land for a while. My old house, sold, like she said. She had forged my signature turns. Out, she had power of attorney while I was deployed. That same trust I gave her so she could handle bills and responsibilities. Used to legally strip me of everything. I filed police reports. I talked to a lawyer, but you know what they said? Technically, sir, she didn't break the law. She didn't break the law because I had given her that power. She sold our house, emptied our accounts, took my truck, sold it too. I even found out she had cancelled my health insurance, and Jake, that coward, moved 3 states away with her. Started a new life, new social media accounts, a beachside apartment, and you know what really made my blood boil? They got engaged. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, like I was some phase they outgrew, like I was just the guy who funded their little escape plan. I spiraled for a while. I'd lie if I said I didn't. I drank too much. I stopped talking to people. Didn't go back to base for weeks. The VA counselor said I had situational PTSD. No kidding, but then something happened. I got a letter, not from Emily, not from Jake, from a friend of a friend, someone who used to work at the real estate firm that handled the sale of our house. And what they said changed everything. "Hey, you don't know me, but I thought you deserved to know this. Emily and Jake weren't alone in what they did. Someone inside the bank helped them hide the transfers. Also, the house sale had some irregularities. You might want to talk to someone federal, as in FBI. And that was when I decided. They wanted to play dirty. I'd play smarter. They took everything from me. Now, I was going to take it back. The first time I said the word revenge out loud. I was staring at myself in a cracked bathroom mirror at the VA center. I looked like hell. Sleep-deprived, angry, a shadow of the man I used to be. But the guy looking back at me, he was still a soldier, so I wiped the bloodshot from my eyes, straightened up, and started digging. That letter I got, it wasn't just hearsay. It came with receipts, literally, copies of documents showing my forged signature. Internal emails between Emily and some shady real estate agent named Lauren Mallory, who also happened to be dating Jake's cousin. Real small world, huh? The weird part. There were 2 wire transfers from our house sale. One to Emily's account. The other to a business account that didn't belong to either of us. Now that caught my attention. I walked into a federal credit union near base and politely asked the manager if they could help me trace a transaction from 3 months ago. They politely told me to leave, so I changed tactics. I called in a favor from Sergeant Ramos, who used to work in Tel. I told him everything. At first he didn't believe me. Then I sent him the emails, the forged signature, the timing, the bank's shady behavior, and he said 5 words that lit a fire in my chest. You might have a RICO case. Now, for those not familiar, RICO stands for Racketeer, Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's used to take down organized crime. Think mafia, drug cartels. Or in this case, a bunch of idiots who thought they were smarter than the law. Ramos connected me with someone he trusted at the FBI, a guy named Porter. Dry voice, wore old suits, probably listened to jazz at night. He wasn't impressed by my story at first, but when I showed him the documents, the forged power of attorney, the bank account transfers, the emails that hinted at insider fraud, his tone changed. Mr. Hayes, do you mind if we look into this further? Damn right I didn't. From there, it moved fast. Faster than I thought possible. They subpoenaed the real estate firm's records. They discovered Lauren Mallory had been investigated before for sketchy paperwork. They traced the second wire transfer to a shell company registered under Jake's name, a company that never filed taxes, that didn't exist, really, except on paper. But the best part, turns out Emily never properly revoked the power of attorney. So legally, she was still acting as me when she sold the house, which meant everything she signed, including the fraudulent wire transfers, were federal crimes. I wasn't allowed to be involved in the investigation, but Porter would call me every few weeks, just to update a cooperating witness. One day, he said, "We've found something interesting. Have you heard of Harrison Mutual Bank?" I had. It was where we had our mortgage. Turns out a bank officer had quietly helped Emily hide the cash. She'd paid him under-the-table transfers, labeled as consulting fees. A sloppy cover. One they didn't expect anyone to check. Well, Porter's team checked. The FBI arrested Lauren Mallory first. She flipped in less than a day. Then they picked up the bank officer. Then Jake. Emily was last. They got her on wire fraud, bank fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, and identity theft. She tried to play dumb. I didn't know he was doing that. Jake handled it all. But remember, Porter had the emails. He had her voice recordings. They'd tapped her phone for 2 weeks. She had bragged to her sister on a call that she played the system like a fiddle. That fiddle was now playing in federal court. I didn't get everything back. The house was long gone, the money. Some of it was recovered, not all. But you know what I did get? I got my name cleared. I got my dignity. I got to watch them get sentenced. Jake to 18 months in federal prison. Emily 3 years, minimum. She cried in court. IDN, single quotes, T. Funny how people beg for mercy after showing you none. When it was over, I walked outside that courtroom and just stood there. For a long time, it wasn't joy I felt. It wasn't peace. It was something heavier. Something earned. I went back to my truck, pulled out that same old teddy bear I'd bought back in Iraq, and held it in my hand. I wasn't gonna be a dad, but I damn sure wasn't gonna be a fool either. The first night after the sentencing, I slept for 12 straight hours. No nightmares. No waking up in a cold sweat. Just silence. I thought maybe that was it, that I could start over. I got a job working private security for a logistics firm. Not glamorous, but it paid the bills. I found a small apartment, nothing fancy. And for the first time in years, I stopped checking over my shoulder. But ghosts don't stay buried long. One morning, maybe 6 weeks after the trial, I found an envelope taped to my front door. No return address. Just my name written in red ink. Inside a USB drive. And a single line typed on printer paper. You only thought it was over. I plugged the drive into an old laptop. One I didn't mind frying in case it was some malware. Instead, it was a video, grainy, filmed on a phone. It showed Emily in prison. But not just her. She was talking to someone, whispering, hand gestures, code, and then, clear as day, she said, he thinks he won. But Jake's cousin still has the rest. We're not done. My blood ran cold. Turns out the money we recovered, that was just part of it. They had funneled more, maybe hundreds of thousands, into offshore crypto wallets, hidden under false names, shell companies, backdoors I never even knew existed, and now she was trying to get it out. From inside prison, she had help, connections, and the part that stung the most, she was willing to destroy me again, if it meant getting the rest. I went straight to Porter at the FBI. He didn't look surprised. She's smarter than we gave her credit for, he said. I wasn't in the mood for admiration. I wanted to know what we could do. He told me they were working on it. Said they needed more time. I didn't have time, so I took matters into my own hands. I reached out to an old contact, someone who owed me a favor from a classified mission years ago. Let's just say he knew how to make people talk, and how to listen without being seen. We tracked down Jake's cousin, Travis. He worked for a shipping company in Tampa, lived in a rental house behind a gas station. Thought he was invisible. He wasn't. I confronted him in the parking lot at 2:37 a.m. No yelling, no threats. I just walked up to his car window, tapped on the glass, and said, "Let's talk about the wallets, Travis." He froze. He tried to deny it. I let him. Then I showed him the video. I watched his face turn to stone. 2 days later, he sent me a file. A full breakdown of the crypto transfers. Passwords, ledger, IDs, exchange dates. It was all there. I turned it over to the FBI. Porter looked at me like I had just handed him gold bars. "This could add 5 more years to her sentence," he said. I didn't smile. I just nodded. Emily tried to play it off in court. Said she didn't know about Travis. Said it was all planted. Fake. The judge didn't buy it. She screamed when they added the charges. She looked straight at me, eyes full of venom. "You think this is over? I'll always come back." I didn't flinch. I just whispered, "Not if you don't leave again." That night, I drove out to the ocean, sat on the hood of my truck, listened to the waves. You know what I realized? Some people spend their whole lives digging graves for others, then trip and fall into them themselves. Emily was one of them, and me. I was finally done burying the past. Asterisk, it's been 8 months since that courtroom scream. Since the last time I heard her voice. No more letters. No more threats. Just silence. I moved to a quiet town in Montana. Bought a fixer-upper cabin with what little I had left. It's mine, every nail, every floorboard. No ghosts here, some nights. I still wake up at 3 a.m. expecting chaos. But then I breathe, and remember, I made it through, not because I wanted revenge, but because I deserved peace. I don't check her name online anymore. Don't care if Jake's still breathing. Their history and me. I'm building something